Hey everybody, welcome back to our vegan protein YouTube channel. Today I want to talk to you about something that's very near and dear to my heart, muscle. More specifically, how much muscle you can expect to gain naturally. Year one as a lifter, as a male athlete, you can expect to gain about 20 pounds of muscle over the course of the year. As a female lifter, it is about 10 pounds of muscle. Year two, that number is cut in half. Year three, that number is cut in half again. I'll try to put a little formula up over here, see if we can do that in the pop-up. Danny's editing these videos, so hopefully where you see my finger, you'll either see a link to that chart or you'll see the actual chart right about there. Anyways, so if you're catching my drift, years 1 through 3, you can gain a whole lot of muscle. Just think about it. As a female athlete, you can gain 10 pounds in your first year, 5 pounds in your second year, and 2.5 pounds or 3 pounds roughly in your third year. And with the law of diminishing returns, after year 3, you're really not gaining a whole lot of muscle. So year 1 through 3, I always recommend focusing on muscle gain. So often we want to focus on muscle gain with weight loss. And if we could focus on muscle gain without weight loss in some scenarios, or muscle gain even with mass gain, then we can maximize our potential. But the truth is that doesn't work for all scenarios, and it's not necessarily a linear equation. Here's where we get hung up on the details, where it's like, how many years can I lift and how much muscle can I gain? And after I've been lifting for 5 years, there really isn't much more that I can do. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Well, you have those newbie gains as a lifter. In those first 3 years, you pack on a whole bunch of muscle. That also comes at a cost. As a newer lifter, when we see ourselves making gains fast, we don't really pick apart too many things. And there are so many variables to consider. So here's the deal. Let's say that you've been lifting for 10 years, right? You've put on about as much muscle as you could put on. Are you lifting to maintain at this point? The answer is no. There are certain things that matter. Okay, diet stress is one. How many times have you mini cut or competition, or been on a competition prep, or just dieted for long periods of time? That diet stress plays a role in your ability to gain muscle. So those years that you spend dieting, you still have more years where you can actually gain muscle. And that's where this formula isn't necessarily a linear one. Other things to think about: environmental stresses. How well have you been managing your stress? How is your sleep hygiene? How are you doing with getting your protein in 4 to 5 times a day? All of these things matter. So while yes, once again, those first 3 years you can gain a whole lot of muscle, there are so many things that you can do to tweak things down the line where you can arguably be gaining some sort of quality muscle, even 10, 15, 20 years into the game, as you continue to learn about how to make up for all of those gains that were left on the table. Because it's going to happen. That's life. Nothing is that linear, and my thought process here is whatever we could do to do this in a balanced way gives us the greatest potential to be doing this for the long term. And that's where the real magic happens. Hitting that 10-year mark and being able to lift for say 25 years consistently to actually tap your truest potential, that is it. That is, to me, the reason why I do this thing, honestly. There are some other things to consider. Your age matters. As a younger person, you're just going to be able to gain muscle faster, say puberty, for example, or just being able to recover more, or just not having as many responsibilities, your stress levels are down. These kinds of factors matter, and they make it so that you can actually gain muscle much faster. Doesn't mean as an older individual you can't gain the same amount of muscle. It just means that it might take a little bit longer. Here's something else that I think we do not take into account nearly enough. Our training. Let's say that we're the type that needs to do as much as humanly possible because we enjoy it. We like to push our boundaries. We like to go as hard as we possibly can. Well, even if you haven't gotten injured, if you're constantly under-recovered, or if you're not optimizing your recovery, then you stand to leave gains on the table. Here's why. That fatigue, if you're never recovering from it, you're beating yourself up potentially for the sake of it, when you could be recovering better from your training and being able to challenge yourself to do more. So recovery by not working yourself to the bone in the gym is something to really focus on, especially after you've been doing this for several years. The other thing is we get used to, or we get lazy, I should say, with our training. We start to speed up our reps. we don't necessarily focus on our form, or we're just learning how to lift basically. Like learning how to train intelligently is a skill. It's an art. It takes years, decades to master. And those of us who approach it from the beginning, good on you. I can't say that I've been there myself. I definitely lifted like a bro for many years on end, and I've paid the price for that. And so some of this is damage control for me in my later years of lifting. But regardless, my point here is that we still have to learn how to lift. And once we learn proper form and we're able to execute proper form from rep 1 through rep 10 and beyond, no matter how advanced we become, that is when we can actually go back in years. Like we can still be a newer lifter. So in other words, you can possibly even expect year 1 gains on certain exercises if you're just learning how to lift really well with them. And so for example, like compounds, squats, bench, deadlifts, exercises like that, and other multi-joint movements, they take several years just to even learn how to do them well. And so once that in and of itself results in muscle gain, but all the while you're probably putting more weight on the bar that you know that you should. And what that leads to is us literally learning how to lift that weight properly over time from like year 4, 5, and 6, and thus the gains start to come. So anyways, if you get my drift, training intelligently, training with proper form, years not spent dieting, eating with the goal in mind to gain muscle, in other words, getting in your protein 4 to 5 times a day, all of these things matter. And here's where, let's say you've done all of this, right? And you've gotten to like, say, your 10 to 15 years of training, you've dialed everything, you've optimized everything, and you look at what you're doing, you're like, am I wasting my time here? Am I just lifting to maintain? Here's how I feel about it. You're not. And the reason why is there are so many other things you can do. This is where it really gets fun, where you can start to focus on strength, you can start to focus on rounding out certain areas of your physique. So it really is, bodybuilding in essence is a finesse sport. Well, you may reach your genetic potential, say between year 10 to year 20 when you're doing everything right. There are still things that you can do to improve your physique, and you would be surprised how even a pound or 2 of muscle put on your frame in the right way makes that much of a difference once you've dialed in your physique. So anyways, just some things that I think about when it comes to how much muscle one can expect to gain, how long it takes, and how the formula isn't as black and white as what you do in year 1 through year 3 is really all you're gonna get. It's really what happens down the line, and as you continue to learn, that's going to ultimately dictate how you're going to look in the long run, and that to me is the real fun of it. So if you're interested in learning more about this, you can reach out to us. You can shoot me an email. I'd be happy to go over what it looks like for you, where you're at veganproteins@gmail.com. And if you like this video, hit the like button. Let us know what else you want us to talk about. Leave us a comment. Let us know what's up. Let us know where you're at in your muscle gaining journey, and we'll be in touch.